Maybe I'm going off the deep end here. I do think part of the problem that they have with Diana is that she's a white, blonde hair girl. Blonde and blue eyes. I fucking called it. I fucking called it. Have you considered that maybe these people want to try? That maybe these men actually want to try to have relationships and find a girlfriend, marry her, and settle down and have kids? Let's actually watch the Shoe slapbox. I like Shoe.
Your eggs are drying up.
Fuck!
If you're a woman online...
Well, why does that have to be the first thing? Like, I get the videos titled Male Protector Fantasy, as an incel to want to be a father. I knew it was gonna be like dating and father stuff and like and children, but why does the first 4 seconds have to call me out like that? What the? Shoo! I like you. Why do you hate me?
You have probably heard that many times. Perhaps this image haunts you at night. It is a true fact that women's fertility begins to decline at age 30, and they suddenly wake up and get what we call baby fever. But what about the men? Do their sperms...
This is painful. I thought it was supposed to be about men. I didn't want to be called out like this within 20 seconds of the video. It's just getting worse. It's just getting worse. It's just getting worse. That rabbit, like that, she said the rabbit meme haunts you and I. Like, yes, I've literally had a dream. I've literally had a dream about that fucking rabbit meme, okay? I'm not kidding. I forget all the details, but it was like one of those cases where like I hopped on Twitter and like the people were just posting that and with the empty egg cartons and various other details, and it's just like, and I woke up very depressed. I don't really like being BTFO'd here when I'm trying to support Shoe. Fuck me, man.
Rot? Do their balls shrivel up into little raisins and die? Do they wake up one day and get baby fever? Do men have a biological clock in the same way women do? I've briefly joked about this in videos before. In fact, a clip of mine from a video I did a few months ago actually went viral recently thanks to the VTuber Smugalana.
Ah, yes, the male biological clock. It's not physical, but spiritual.
Men will deny this, but they absolutely have a biological clock. It may not hit in your teens or your 20s, but one day you're going to have a dream. You have a little daughter making you pancakes with your wife in the morning.
Oh
and
my
you're not
God.
going to be able to get it out of your head.
Oh my God.
And the comments were full of men discussing their dreams to start a family. There is not much discussion about men's desire to have children. Like many things, it's not really something they talk about publicly. That was until a certain video game came out.
Just, what are you?
I am DI-03367, a state-of-the-art Pragmata created here at the Cradle. I possess basic life-saving...
How about we call you Diana?
Diana?
Pragmata is a sci-fi action game where you play as astronaut Hugh Williams, who is sent to investigate an abandoned moon base. He meets a childlike android named Diana, and they team up to survive and escape the space station. Along the way, they uncover what went wrong and defeat the bad guys, all while forming a strong emotional bond.
And if you like this, you're I don't make the rules, that's what Twitter told me. If you like this game with a cute little child in it, because she's hyper realistic and you are a man, therefore you are a go to Epstein's Island. I have already got you tickets. The flight is within 5 minutes, but you better hop on fast, okay? I want you gone now. Go.
I'm counting on you, kiddo.
But it seems to have awakened something deep within.
He touched her. Oh no. He gave her a high five. Oh God. How could he? He hit her. That's basically all of left-wing Twitter ever since this game came out.
Gamers. Especially male gamers. The urge to get married and have kids. I'm not planning on getting married and having kids, but damn, this game is like fatherhood calling to me. Is this how women feel about their biological clocks? This game makes me want a daughter. What is this feeling inside me? It can't be. It's like, I want to protect. It's like, I want to be a a dad. They won me over. The white baby makes me feel paternal. I will burn anyone and anything that tries to harm her. This game is dragging out the innate dad instinct. I want to like Pragmata, but I can't, knowing that men are also enjoying it. This is a game for incels. Babe, wake up! It's time for your yearly gamer culture war slap! It's 2014 forever, man. We are never going to escape Mr. Gamergate's wild ride. In this video, we are going to discuss the
No, because men enjoying things, specifically white men, no, that's inherently evil. That means the death of the West if they actually like stuff, even though white men actually created the West themselves. But we can't have that because, after all, it's for our democracy that the
plus-size gender diverse person of color
is in every single game for representation purposes. Because you, white man, cannot have a country because the black woman who belongs in Africa already has a country she can go back to, but she wants to
contribute
from America specifically. That's basically just how it works. Like, I know Gamergate is specifically about games, but it's also about the culture in itself too. It's definitely evolved throughout the past few years into the more political aspects of things with like DEI, switching from being called an SJW to, woke, intersectionality, that kind of stuff. But it really is an attack against white men and what they like, to demoralize them and kick them out of the workplace, out of schooling, and to lower the birth rate as much as possible so the
person of color peaceful can contribute
the whole country instead. And Gamergate was just a symptom of the overall globalist problem, and they do so via entertainment. You see this in movies and TV shows and obviously gaming, hence Gamergate.
Facts and theories behind the so-called male biological clock after we discuss the drama surrounding the game Pragmata and how a bunch of men expressing a simple, wholesome desire, the desire to start a family, has turned into yet another culture war. Yet another gender war. The gender war. Men versus women, women versus men, the male loneliness epidemic, the female loneliness epidemic, dealing with dating apps, hookup culture. Do men like curvy or thin women? Do women like dad bods or fit men? Do they like beards or clean shaven? Oh yeah, that reminds me. Before we get deeper into this video, let's quickly give a shout out to today's sponsor, Hasan Shaving. For the last few decades, razors haven't been designed to work better. They've been designed to be marketed better. More features, more gimmicks, more blades. Just add one more blade, bro. One more blade, I promise, bro. One more blade. While skin irritation is just treated like something you just have to deal with. And a major cause for irritation is blade flex, because most razors use springs to let the blades move as you shave. That helps them adapt to like different angles, but also causes extra tugging and razor burn. Most people just learn to cope with like aftershave and cold water, fixing the symptoms instead of the cause. The question nobody asks is, should the blade even move? And here's where Hasan Shaving comes in. By fully supporting a two-sided blade all across its length, they hold the blade in place, preventing any bouncing or skipping, resulting in an irritation-free shave. No springs, no movement, no need to compensate with pressure. And there's something really satisfying about that. Not just getting a better shave, but finally fixing something that's been quietly annoying you for years. Like when you spend months wondering why you don't feel rested even after you get 8 hours sleep, and then you realize, oh, I need a new mattress. You don't need more aftershave, you need a new razor. And since I switched to Hasan, I noticed that my shaves have been smoother than ever. No tugging, no cuts. The best part is, once you invest in a Hasan razor, it is a lifetime purchase. The only thing—
Normally, when I have ads, I just don't care because I know they're trying to sell me something. This is the one ad that every time I see it, I keep thinking to myself, maybe I should actually buy the razor because I have really sensitive skin and I get really nasty razor burns, which makes me hate shaving. Hey, time to fulfill your obligations. Oh, yeah, maybe. I mean, then again, I say this as somebody who is affiliated with thedragonstreasure.com, where Dragon T-Man himself sells soap that I use on a daily or regular basis whenever I shower, right? Whenever I shower, that's a little bit iffy. He's also got tea that I actually drink. He's got the focus drinks. He's got coffee as well, you know, because when you use code Amalgamyte, I know, you get 10% off your order. Isn't it fascinating how that works? And that's a product that I use, that I myself sell, that I think's actually really good, and I promote, that I do actually like, because I wouldn't actually sell you something if I don't actually like it. I would hope Shoe would be the same. She says that she uses it, right? Right? So, you know, I'm gonna be like, yeah, dragonsstretcher.com, code Amalgamyte for 10% off your order for your tea, sip, coffee needs, and focus drinks. If T-Man's not that bad, then maybe the razor's not that bad. Maybe one of these days I'll take the plunge. Ad inside ad? Adception? Smooth as ad transitions, what can I say? I'm a good
Stakeholder.
thing you need to replace are the blades, which cost just 10 cents each. So once you own the razor, you'll only be spending like $3 to $5 per year. Henson offers a variety of different colors. I have
If you don't shave, though, like I do, you don't have to replace those razors that often, actually. Just buy a pack, and then I'm good for like 2 years.
the rose gold. I think it's so cute. So if you're tired of razor burn, skin irritation, and overpaying for replacement blades, Henson Shaving is definitely worth checking out. Just head over to hensonshaving.com/shoe and add both a Henson razor and 100 blades to your cart. Then enter code SHOE at checkout to get the blades for free with your purchase. Big thanks to Henson for sponsoring this video, and thank you, the viewer, for not skipping the ad. Right?
Right,
Now, let's
Shoe.
get
I
back
would
to the
never skip the ad. I promise. I promise I would never skip the ad till I haven't done that before in the past. It's fine.
video. Throughout history, there have been countless stories centered around a very specific dynamic: the adult protector and a child. You see it everywhere. In video games, they call it a dad simulator. The Walking Dead, The Last of Us, God of War, Detroit Become Human, BioShock, Life is Strange. Also movies like Logan, True Grit, in a way, Monsters Inc. Shows like The Mandalorian. Literature has done it forever with The Road, Les Miserables, and many, many others. It shows up time and time again because it taps into something deeply human. The instinct to protect, to guide, to teach, to nurture something more vulnerable than yourself. It is a beautiful and powerful story that has been told for centuries. And you're like really weird and an incel for enjoying it, actually.
It's unfortunately a foreign concept in the modern world, thanks to the whole culture war, splitting the men into one camp and women in other camps, as the gender wars do. And a lot of it's really stupid. But unfortunately, it's so common these days because how splintered we are. Because women are forced to go to college and be girl bosses and be independent, and they're not supposed to settle down until they're well past 30, and then they wonder why they struggle to have kids. And then men over here are suffering because they can't get jobs because the women are taking the jobs. They can't go to college because women are getting in colleges. And then women don't want to be with these men because they're not making enough money. And then they're not having families. And so the men's natural sense to provide and protect, which they have done for the entirety of human history, right? The caveman goes out and hunts the mammoth, while the women sit back in the little in the tents and gather berries from the bushes, right? Like, it's the classic dynamic that we've all known for the entirety of human history. It's only been the past 80 years that we decided, you know what? Let's reject biology. Let's reject what our ancestors taught us. Let's reject tradition. Let's tear down Chesterton's fence. And let's do something radically different because we are superior. We are enlightened. We have liberalism guiding the way. And everyone's upset. Everyone's deeply unhappy with everything. And men can't actually utilize that natural inherent biological sense that they do have anymore. They can simulate it through video games or movies and TV shows, but very few men are actually settling down and having families because the women aren't also willing to settle down, and it's causing this huge rift. And now we have women thinking, oh, that natural desire to provide and protect, that's disgusting because I myself have never been around a child. That's one thing that's not talked about enough, in my personal opinion, is women not actually being around children anymore. Because it used to be normal for there be the big families, you know, with sons and daughters within it. And the older kids would help take care of the younger kids, which was always just the case. I know the left wants to try to make it out as like abuse whenever the kid has to step up and help around the house when there's younger children. Heaven forbid chores and responsibilities, but it's always been the norm, once again, throughout human history, is to have a shit ton of kids. And so girls are used to being around kids from a young age. They used to babysit even back in like the 80s and 90s as, you know, the kids' family units were becoming smaller. They were still at least babysit because other people were having kids. Nowadays, people aren't having kids, and families are very small with 1 to 2 children, roughly around the same age too, so they're not really taking care of each other like the, let's say the 10-year-old versus the 2-year-old situation. And they're going to high school, they're around their peers, then they get sent to slut factories, aka college, and there's definitely no babies at college, right? Because anyone who gets pregnant usually drops out. And then they go straight to the career after that, and you can't have your baby in the office. And so there's never around kids themselves, so the biological instinct for women never ever kicks off because they're not actually around babies. As soon as they are, though, they start breaking down and crying because they're like, holy shit, what have I been missing in my life? That's kind of the same thing happening here, but with men. Except men don't have birth control and SSRIs stunting that factor. And women who have never been around kids look at a man having their biological instinct being primed here and think it's disgusting because they haven't had their biological instinct being activated in return. Like, they get this like weird ick out of it, which is, once again, completely unnatural from it. But when you drug up your body like you're doing and you delay your natural biological functions 10 years past when they should, it creates this weird creature that the woman becomes. Like, it's like a spinster. It's like a hag, but more evil and insidious. Because it's not normal for a woman to be like this. Like, a spinster is already abnormal as it is. And hags are just, you know, older women and that are bitter. But there's really never until relatively recently been younger, bitter women that are also spinsters that never been around children before, or a proper man who has this biological need to be a father. Like, this is a very rare, not even rare, this is a brand new case in history that we have here. It's not how women are supposed to be acting, but they do because they've been propagandized so much and poisoned. It's a mess. Absolute fucking mess. No, it's not even a Karen. Not even a Karen. This is a whole new creature. Because Karens are the usually older millennial and Gen X women who demand a refund for some stupid reason, or what the case is. Though some of them are actually pretty justified because they're usually the Karens are like the ones with the children's being and screaming about some unfairness, some injustice, which in some cases actually kind of true. It's kind of looking back, it seemed like some weird attack against white women for actually being caring about society to a certain degree. But usually a Karen is supposed to be a screeching hag complaining about absolutely nothing just because she's having a woman moment there. That's what a Karen's supposed to be. But this is a new creature entirely. Because you see this from like, oh, she's just a baby. She's just a 21-year-old baby. We're going after her being 25 years old. Like, one of those situations. It's different. I don't know what the term would possibly be. Nobody's created it, and I'm not clever enough to create it myself. Harpies. Maybe harpies would be good. Because they're still screeching women, complaining about nothing important. They're still shrill. Harpies might not be bad. It's an older term, so it's not like exactly anything new for the new phenomenon I'm describing here. But I'm sure someone smarter than me can probably make something.
Incel game. If you buy this game, I'm gonna assume you are a pedophile. I feel like it's a breach of ethics at this point to design child characters for an audience of majority male gamers. Like, let's stop with the defenseless girl the big strong man has to protect. This reeks of sexism and control. I hate these father simulator games. They always give me the creeps. This is low genuinely fascist propaganda and gives me pedo vibes.
Low
Wouldn't it be cool if I sneezed right now? Fascist propaganda. If this is fascist propaganda, Slap me and call me Adolf. Zoomer women really look at a wholesome game involving a child and wait, what the f is low Kirkenuanly? After hearing about toxic masculinity for the past like 15 years now, finally a topic comes up where it's overwhelmingly positive masculinity. And what is the response? I think the funniest thing about the Pragmata controversy is that those incels genuinely think they could ever get near enough to a woman to impregnate one. It's not nuanced. Pragmata is blatant pedophilia catered to male gooner gamers. Why are people thinking this is sexual or makes you a pedophile? Because men are notorious for being peds and disgusting humans. They sexualize everything. You are not very smart. A lot of loser males.
Chat, you're men, right? Last time I checked. Actually, I haven't exactly checked if you had a dick or not. That could be kind of weird if I did. Do you sexualize everything? I do happen to be a penis haver. Okay, then congratulations, you're a simply by existing as a penis haver. I fuck couches for real. Okay, JD Vance. Female teachers, everyone. Anyone, yeah. Like, they have super high rates of, they like to go after them teenage boys, after all.
Who often turn to gaming or pedos. It is an unconscious strategy to avoid competing with chat, as well as complementing their own pure adjourniness.
What?
Stalled development. What? Y'all are full of shit talking about dad instincts and whatever. We know why the f you want to play the game.
I'm sorry. As soon as she didn't block this out, I'm assuming she's gonna call out the flag. But just gotta call out the flag. Just gotta call out the flag. I see the flag opinion disregarded, just like woman.
You want to crack the little blonde bimbo slut. What? This character does
Actually, hold on. I got distracted by the flag, so I didn't actually hear what she was saying. Y'all full of shit talking about dad instincts and whatever. We know why the fuck you want to play the game. You want to crack the little blonde bimbo slut. Okay, so the
gender diverse visual asset.
With the little blonde bimbo slut, when they're talking about a character that is supposed to be child, like it's a child character. Like it's a robot, yes, but like she's supposed to be a child character. That's her whole, you know, appeal of it, right? They're calling a child a blonde bimbo slut. I think that's a horrible mix of jealousy, and I want to check your hard drives. Because who looks at a character like Diana and be like, oh yeah, that's a blonde bimbo slut? No, this is a child.
Talking about dad instincts and whatever. We know why the f you want to play the game. You want to crack the little blonde bimbo slut. What? This character design creeps me out. Why does she look like a doll? Why is this blonde child with a blowout running around barefoot? I've not yet played the game. Is this expanded on in the plot? Or is this just eye candy for creeps? I feel like I'm going insane. She just looks like a cute kid to me. Like, that is just literally a cute little kid. I do not see the sexualization, and I am a huge pervert, mind you. I do not see what the f these people are talking about. Are there creepy people on the internet who are sexualizing Diana? Yes, absolutely yes. It is a small minority, but it is still disgusting. In fact, a subreddit had to be shut down because people were making not safe for work art of this child, which honestly is not shocking. It's Reddit. But that's not the game's fault. The game has nothing creepy in it. These creepy people—
Yeah, to stick my toes in the water filled with sharks are at the moment. There is the lolly debate happening with her because she is a child, right? And she's fictional. I am not a lolicon. I don't like lolly myself. I find it weird. Same with Shoda's, that they go in the same book in my book. At least when it comes to anime, and typically regular anime drawn style when it comes with lollies, I just don't care. As long as it's not like the literal children ones, I just usually don't care. When it gets to the literal children, even with the anime style, it still fucking creeps me out. But at the end of the day, it's fictional. I don't care. Diana, she's technically fictional, but she's hyper realistic. This is like uncanny valley thing. If you're going ooh woo cunny to her, and it's not a joke, I think you also get the wood chipper myself personally. There's a difference of level between a cartoon style like anime where it's unrealistic to hyper-realistic Uncanny Valley, that's very clearly like 100% a child. No weird qualifications or in-betweens or the case is. There's a difference. There's a difference. And if you're making art of her, then that's wood chipper there. Like, too far. A little bit too far.
People will always exist, unfortunately. I have made several videos about these people existing. People getting mad here are not getting mad at the people sexualizing Diana. That would be completely understandable. It would make sense if they were going to the accounts that were doing that and calling them creeps, but no. They're for some reason just getting mad at people liking and enjoying the game. They're just spurging out and randomly calling everyone and anyone incels.
Why did they make her look like a porn star, though?
What?
Why is the child sexy? Are you okay? These Twitter freaks see a child, immediately sexualize them, and think everyone else is as creepy as they are. Like, no bitch, that's you! And Reddit! You and Reddit! There is nothing in this video game that caters to the freaks except for the fact that Diana is a child. Compare that—
I don't think she was going to talk about this, so I'll bring it up. I do think, and maybe I'm going off the deep end here, I do think part of the problem that they have with Diana is that she's a white, blonde hair girl. Like I said, I might be going off the deep end. I might be fighting ghosts here and you know, punching at shadows. She just looks like your average white, blonde hair child. But there is a how do I word this exactly here without if I don't, then it's gonna sound weird, right? It has been well established and studied at this point that white people are more desirable, when, at least on dating apps. White people are considered more attractive on average across the board with all races, with the only exception being white men finding more Asian women more attractive, and those are usually the Japanese and the Chinese, more specifically in that case. But across the board, all races find white women the most attractive and most desirable one. And a lot of these third world cultures, especially India, that's the prime example there, where the only time they ever see white women is through porn. There's definitely, I feel like there's something going on there, which is why they have that one person who tweeted that she looks like a porn star. I don't know obviously what ethnicity they are, where they come from themselves, but I definitely do think with all that factored in, like I said, Diana just looks like a white child, right? A white blonde haired child that you would find in like Midwest America that's not actually fat, because unfortunately a lot of the white girls are becoming fat even from young ages. There's definitely some sort of racial aspect about it too. Like I said, maybe I'm just too far off the deep end here, but there's just definitely seems to be that aspect with all their complaints with it.
is a child. Compare that to like Cuties, where there were up closes of real children twerking. That is media. That is catering to those people. An article recently came out from the outlet
I know I should let the video play, but she brought up Cuties, and I just want to say that shit was fucking disgusting. And the fact that they allowed it, even through all the current controversy, is saying something about Netflix. I feel like more people need to get their hard drives checked, but okay, carry on.
Gamer that in the beginning talks about what happened on the Reddit and how disgusting some people are being towards the character Diana. Okay, fair enough, I agree. But then towards the end, the author throws in something very telling.
I have not yet played Pragmata, and that's because I'm a little tapped out on stories where men adopt daughter-like figures and prove their masculinity by protecting them.
That is their real problem. Men protecting people. That's just them proving their masculinity. And as we all know, masculinity bad.
Blatantly not fuel, whether you agree with it or not. The average attraction trope on a little girl, blonde, blue.
There we go. Blonde and blue eyes. I fucking called it. These
differently colored individuals.
And these leftists hate traditional beauty standards, and that is white girls with blonde hair and blue eyes, or green eyes and ginger hair, right? Because there's a whole ginger epidemic. Like every single ginger that's ever existed has been replaced, like April from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles turning into that disgusting blob recently. They hate white beauty. And that is specifically only within white people that are 1, white, 2, have blue eyes, and 3 are they're blonde. You can't get that from the rest of the world, right? White people are only 8% of the population. It's also the only population where you do have the blue eyes and the blonde hair, or the green eyes and the ginger hair. Like, those are very unique colors, or anything kind of like in between there. The rest of the world is
Pigmentation enriched with earthy eyes and hair.
now, there's obviously different facial features and skeletal features that happen with them. But it's very telling that they hate the whole blonde hair, blue eyes trope. I fucking called it. I fucking called it here.
Blue eyes? I mean, the whole game is low-key Nazi propaganda, to be fair. I think the men who play this are probably creepy, but how is it Nazi propaganda? Blonde, blue-eyed toddler and tiaras-looking white girl you have to save is literally Nazi propaganda straight out of the 1930s, dude. Sorry, I don't see it. Ugh, I really don't have the energy to deal with this. Just use your brain.
Sorry, I don't have the energy to explain my schizophrenic paranoid delusion. Good. I don't have the energy to listen to it. Listen, I know we're all used to seeing gay, black, Hispanic, disabled furries in media lately, but I promise you, white people still exist. It's not Nazi propaganda.
I feel like this girl character is an objectification of the idealized child. She's pulled right from the patriarchal white supremacist imagination, the perfect pure white girl child that must be protected so she can produce the next white generation.
It's just racial hated. They just hate white people. They just hate white people. It's that simple. That was a good edit. Unsolicited opinions from online prostitutes. Hell yeah, that's me. I'm an online prostitute.
Anyway.
Funny how y'all have paternal instincts for a child with a model woman's face plastered on it. Make her look like an actual kid with missing teeth, short hair, bare face, snot, and see if those instincts kick in the same. This game is openly catering to pedos.
You take the child character, who's supposed to be like 10 years old roughly, which is still a child, and you make her more of a child, like she's 5 years old, which will still actually kick in the paternal instincts regardless of the case. Like, it's not a gotcha. You're making the child character look even more like a child, even more uncanny valley, hyper-realistic. You're hurting yourself in confusion here. Like, that's not how it works. Like, if
Israeli IPR
would like the even more realistic childlike thing. What are you doing?
Gaslighting is over.
Wait, I'm trying to follow the logic here. Let me just give myself some brain damage. So we make her look more like a child in order to not cater to pedophiles? Am I following that correctly?
Also, the face on the left is like a child 6 to 7 years old, and the one on the right is like a 3-year-old. Diana's a robot kid. She's not a robot toddler. Also, again, she looks like a kid. Am I going insane? Like, that looks just like a little kid. Do they just want her to look ugly? Is that what this is? They want her to be ugly? Like,
yes, they want her.
Melanin enriched of skin, with optimal nostril airflow, and representative of plus-sized individuals.
And that's it. Like, that's what they want. They want her to be like 15 years old and sassy and doesn't speak to no man because she's a strong, independent girl boss and oh shit, that kind of deal. Because that patriarchal white man in the spacesuit is trying to save her ass. That's what they want. That's what they fucking want.
I need more brain damage. Hold on.
weeb incel gamers LARPing saying, ooh, I want to be a dad now, because they're manipulative, creepy freaks and like the ooh little girl with the model face, especially the lolicons, obviously. The devs know the male gamers hate a realistic or ugly child, because that's not what they're playing for. If they made her look like a realistic, ugly child, none of them would be saying this.
Okay, now we're getting into the anti-natalism. Because they're trying to say a realistic ugly child. Like, yes, there's obviously ugly children out there that have been struck by God. And, you know, I feel bad for them when they grow up. But children are just children? She looks like a regular white child? Once again, like, they're trying to be like, oh, like, we need a realistic, like, ugly child. Trying to basically say that children inherently are ugly. And gremlins, disgusting gremlins that people hate. This is anti-natalistic propaganda happening here because they themselves hate children and want them eradicated. because they have their own daddy issues themselves and been propagandized. And so therefore they see children as the threat to the environment, because if you have more children then the global population increases, and we gotta save the turtles. We can't have white people producing because white people are inherently evil, but we're gonna keep on sending US aid to Africa because the starving children there. But that's different. Always goes back to the reset thing. That's always the undercurrent about all this stuff. But they just hate children. They see them as continuation of the human race. And they hate their own lives. They don't want to, in their eyes and their brain, to continue on that suffering.
First of all, why are they acting like it's realistic to portray children as ugly and disgusting? Children are not ugly and disgusting. Like, they're cute and adorable. That's what they're known for. Like, yes, she's made to look cute. Yes. That's how you know this game was not made by Western video game developers. That's how you know there was no Liliths on the dev team here.
You guys would lose your shit while playing BioShock. Actually, BioShock is a really good example of this design working right. The little sisters are all gross and have gray-green skin.
No, you don't understand. Everything around me must be ugly as or I will furiously start masturbating. This all sounds like 2014 discourse, because it is 2014 discourse. Please don't let there be Gamergate 2.0. Who's going to be the Shoe0nHead 2.0 to emerge from the Gamergate 2.0? If she's listening now, just, this might sound very vague, but don't. That thing? Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it.
I don't think I can, because I'm a VTuber. But also, we kind of already had a Gamergate 2.0, because but then again, we never actually left Gamergate. That's the thing. This discourse has never died, because it's never left. Like we can't have a 2.0 unless it actually does disappear. But it hasn't. The SJWs have evolved into being the woke intersectionality. I was doing a good job there, then it was failing. Anyway. But the SJWs have turned into the wokies, let's say, right? They have increased with their intersectionality even further. An old Gamergate term, right, was the totem of oppression, right? Or oppression Olympics as well, where it was built upon, oh, women are the most oppressed. But then it was like, but if you're a brown woman, you're even more oppressed. And if you're a trans brown woman, you're even more oppressed. And if you're a disabled trans brown woman, you're the most oppressed. The oppression Olympics, trying to see who gets the most points for favoritism within the back in the day, social justice. Why they're called social justice warriors. But no, we never left, because the problems are still there. We still have feminism running rampant and telling girls to be the girl bosses, and strong independent woman don't need no man type of deal. Go to college, don't have children. Women still believe in the patriarchy and the wage gap. All that fun stuff that goes within it. Now it's a lot more colored, as we have the racism, all the other bullshit that goes into intersectionality too, with like the transphobia and the homophobia, all the ists and the obes that did already exist in Gamergate, but the main point of Gamergate was the feminism stuff, because we had Nina Sarkeesian, a feminist frequency, making these videos about how women are too sexualized and is oppressing women that way. Pink News making articles about culture, and you had Mattress Girl, who would drag her mattress around college campus, saying that, oh, she was oppressed, and then a few years later comes out saying she's lying about the story. Wow, it keeps on happening, doesn't it? This shit never leaves. Never leaves. Like, there's the Sukino stuff, right? Same thing as Mattress Girl. All these girls coming out and being like, oh, this guy, he had sex with me, and I regret it. He manipulated me as I was a pure, innocent 20-year-old. How dare he manipulate me and have multiple other girlfriends and all this other stuff. Like, okay, yeah, he's a cheater, he's a piece of shit, but you yourself are the slut for having sex with him and not taking any responsibility for yourself here, and not realizing that, hey, maybe this big streamer probably has other girlfriends too. It's the same thing. It's still Me Too, right? He's the Harvey Weinstein of 2026. We're a blast from the past there from 2016. It still happens. It still happens. And until we actually fix the culture, and the only way to fix it is through politics, to get rid of feminism, to get rid of the communists, because at the end of the day, feminism is just Marxism, but for women, right? Intersectionality is just, once again, Marxism, but for skin color. The whole LGBTQ is just, once again, Marxism, but for the...
Happy fun-loving individuals.
It's all within left-wing psychobabble there. And until you actually get rid of it, root and stem, it's not going to go away. So then Gamergate's never going to die. Anyway, rant over for now. Let's continue the video.
Thanks for talking to me all the time. Ta-da!
Is this supposed to be when we first boarded the tram?
Uh-huh. I drew it.
The memes of this are absolutely hilarious, by the way, but I can't show them on YouTube for obvious reasons.
It's for you.
Look at that. You wrote your name, too. Not half bad, kiddo.
This robot girl makes me uncomfortable, and the fact that I haven't seen female gamers fawn over her is interesting. I've seen more clips of her and that man, and that is not how kids behave. Something weird is going on here.
You've never been around
Something
kids.
weird going on here is you, ma'am. You are the something weird. Men like the Father Simulator game where you have to protect a small child and shoot up a bunch of robots in space? Suspicious! Also, I have seen plenty of female gamers fawn over this character.
Me. Yeah. Okay. Everything's all about you.
Who would win? Decades of anti-natalist propaganda? One little bean. There were even women cosplaying as her. And when women even expressed how cute they thought Diana was, they're also met with this.
Oh my god, Diana is so precious and adorable. I'm gonna love this game. Thanks for telling everyone why you want to play the game, before you make up some other excuse to hide your pedophilia. What? Water guns are the best. I like it just as much as crayons. I like how the sand feels on my toes. I press down and sink in. Children don't act like this. This is how someone who fetishizes fatherhood wants children to behave. To normal people, it's actually deeply off-putting.
The best part was all the action.
Okay, well, I guess she's supposed to be a child character, but she's also still technically a robot who is... I haven't played the game myself. I probably should have done this little PSA at the beginning of the video, but I haven't played the game myself. I honestly probably won't play the game. It doesn't really interest me. I'm not exactly interested in, like, sci-fi, semi-dystopian, spacey stuff. That's not my thing. I like medieval fantasy myself, personally. But she's a robot, and the whole point of her is to live, like, she's living the experiences of being human because she's made to obviously look human, but she's still a robot. And so the fact that she's like, I like how the sand feels on my toes, I've pressed in and sink in. That's the robot side kind of coming out, and of her being like, you know, learning how she's to be human experience. Because there's both layers happening there. Obviously, most of it is her being a kid, but there's still the robot side of the story too. Like, are you stupid? Delusional? Not to mention, kids say the most random stuff. Like, I saw a post earlier today from somebody I follow where they told their son that they're gonna have a girl. They were gonna have a girl before this one, but they had a miscarriage, and unfortunately, obviously, the baby passed away because of it. And the boy responded with, "I hope this one goes to heaven too." It wasn't actually like a death threat or anything like that. It's just simply like the 3-year-olds not really understanding how it actually works, because he sees heaven as like a good thing, because that's what they're raising him to be, you know. Because then apparently the next thing the kid did was run over to his mom and hug it and said he can't wait for the baby to come, right? It's not like the 3-year-old actually wants the baby to die. It's just they're a little autistic, and they're learning how things work, and so they can say the most wild shit, not knowing the social norms that go into it because they're still children. Maybe it's not super wild like this case, like I kind of gave, but they still say the very blatant, obvious things, not realizing the social consequences or how kind of retarded it sounds. It's not that deep.
Off-putting. The best part was all the actual parents, like, replying to these people like, yeah, no, that is literally how my 5-year-old acts. It's like, yeah, no, that's pretty accurate. Fetishizing you mean the human desire to procreate and start a family? Oh, you want to meet a woman and settle down and have a family? Maybe have a house, 2 dogs? You sick f***.
We've reached radioactive levels of incel propaganda.
What the f*** does incel mean anymore? I feel like I ask this in every single video. This tweet got thousands of likes. I feel like I am going and say, where does the incel part come from? Like, they want—
Incel is just an insult for men. That's all that it is. Just an insult for men. Doesn't actually mean much of anything anymore, but it's supposed to be derogatory. Kind of hard to be derogatory where there's no meaning behind the word, but the left knows what it means in their eyes, which is basically men, and they hate men, and so therefore it's derogatory to be a man. That's what incel means these days. Not involuntary celibate, which is the actual meaning of it, is a man who can't get laid and get a girlfriend, against all odds, no matter how hard he tries, hence why it's involuntary that he's celibate. But no, it's just because they hate fucking men. That's all that matters.
Want men to be open about their emotions, and then men are open about their emotions, and then they're just called Nazis or incels or both. Usually both. It's usually a package deal. And this tweet came from a man, to make things worse. A grown-ass man saw another grown-ass man speaking about the normal human desire to want a family and want children one day, and called him an incel. Cockroach behavior.
In any case, what is...
That's just a male feminist. And yes, Hasan Piker, the man, the myth, the legend of the cockroaches of themselves. I like he's now got a Kaya cam in the corner to show that he's not, in fact, actually abusing his dog. He's a male feminist. And if we're going to be bringing up Gamergate in 2016 and blasting the past, male feminists are notorious for not actually respecting women like they so claim to be, as they tip their fedora. They tend to be a little bit more handsy with the woman. You could say a bit violent with them. Even though on the outside they proclaim that they want to fight the patriarchy, that they, want to break the glass ceiling for women and stop the wage gap. They don't objectify women themselves. They don't use the male gaze because they're better than that, right? Because they're the male feminists. They want to help women. Behind the scenes they get a little bit grabby.
Is this Capcom's Pragmata? Wait, did it come out already? Pragmata, it's making thousands of people suddenly want to start a family. You play as Hugh, a soldier stranded on a ruined lunar research station. His job is protecting the childlike android Diana while fighting rogue AI. In one emotional moment, she gives him a crayon drawing of the two of them together as a little family. Even streamers who say at the start they didn't want kids end up breaking down happy in tears. So what's really interesting about this is all of these unfuckable losers in the gaming sphere always talk about like starting families and stuff. And I don't understand like why this has become a thing that they care about. Like, if you're a gamer, you should care about things that you actually experience. You should care about things that you actually enjoy, right? If you're a lonely gamer who has never been around a woman and will never have sex with a woman, why do you care? Like, why do you care about having children or like riding for having children? Like, it's just not something that you're going to experience ever for your life, for the rest of your life, right?
I moved myself that way. I know I was covering the cockroach, okay? I know you probably don't actually want to see the cockroach, but it's kind of important when he's talking, right? But the fact he's just like, yeah, by the way, incel loser, you're never gonna have a family. You're gonna die alone. Why should you actually care about children? Why should you even want to have children? You're not gonna have that ever. You're just gonna die alone. Awful, horrible, despicable. Have you considered that maybe these people want to try? That maybe these men actually want to try to have relationships and find a girlfriend, marry her, and settle down and have kids? I know, fascinating concept that men and women are actually supposed to be together and have kids in the first place, but it's kind of a process in the modern culture called dating. There's something called dating where you actually meet the woman first, and after a couple of years of being together, then you actually get married. I know, actually it shouldn't even work like that in my personal opinion anymore, because obviously it's not working, but regardless, that's the case. Heaven forbid men yearn to actually want something more than just themselves. Says the champagne socialist living in his multi-million-dollar mansion with his abused dog in the corner as he goes back to Cuba and stays at that 5-star hotel that he actually shouldn't technically be in, and it causes a power outage within the country itself. Absolutely horrible person. Absolutely horrible person here.
This is something that I never understand.
Wow, maybe there's a reason people are yearning to start a family and can't afford to have one and can't seem to find a partner. They feel alienated from their work and atomized from their community. If only there was a political commentator around to speak about all this. Oh well, guess not. First of all, the only care about something if it affects you is extremely libertarian coded, and also very weird coming from a guy who understandably wants everybody to care about a genocide that is happening across the ocean. Second of all, what is this nihilistic horseshit? Yeah, never aspire for anything, never aim for greatness and meaning. This is the dude the media wants us to believe is going to save young men from the alt-right pipeline. Yeah, okay. And I love how he's like, unfuckable losers. Like, okay, congrats on the sex, bro. Check out this sex haver over here. I'm sure all those unfuckable losers could easily go to foreign brothels and pay for sex like you, Hasan. Something weird about a man who could easily, consensually get sex from a woman, but chooses to go to a brothel. I don't know. Just saying. Also, 35? No kids? Like, I'm sorry.
He's got a point. Though I think that brothel, if it actually does, you know, have allegedly have younger women in there, that could be possibly why he was into that specifically. Once again, allegedly. I never understood the whole mentality of not liking or supporting something if it doesn't like affect you. There's a certain level to it, right? Because he's constantly talking about Gaza and the Israel-Palestine conflict. I don't care about that because it's a foreign country in the Middle East that honestly has problems with the entirety of human history. It's never really been stable before. Like, I don't care about that because it doesn't affect me because it's a foreign country. During Gamergate, even though I'm a fake gamer, I'm a tourist, I'm a grifter here, right? I haven't played the vast majority of games that have existed because I didn't have a computer. I did have a Wii and eventually a Switch, but my parents were really tight on what video games I could play and everything along those lines. They try to keep me sheltered underneath the rock as best as they could. I knew about games through YouTube, which my parents were too old to really understand how YouTube actually worked, and so that was able to slip through their cracks there. And so I just like lived vicariously watching like Markiplier and other YouTubers playing various games. But because I did have a Wii and eventually a Switch, I was in love with the Zelda series. That's my favorite franchise, is The Legend of Zelda. And when I did get into politics and specifically Gamergate, even though I was watching all these other game franchises like Halo, World of Warcraft, eventually Warhammer, though that's a little bit more recent in the past few years, Fallout, and just like Ubisoft in general, like all these new modern AAA games coming out with all these
extra large POC new females.
Anything else like that have happened over the ages. I didn't want that happening to my Zelda, even though I knew Nintendo was a little bit better when it comes to this stuff because they're Japanese. The last thing I wanted was my favorite shows, was my favorite things, being turned into what we now call woke slop. I could see how the winds are blowing, and I was trying to change that because I didn't support it myself, right? I like sexy females in video games because sexy females are hot. Not a hard concept to actually try to support people or things and sympathize with them when you can understand that the problem may eventually affect you with enough time, or does affect you. You can sympathize with them because you wouldn't want that to happen to you, right? It's the old phrase of like, do unto others as you want to be treated. Same kind of situation here. Same with men's issues, right? Like, I used to be big in the MGTOW, even though I myself was a woman, right? The whole MGTOW stands for men going their own way, because I could see the winds were blowing with how women were acting, and I hated it, and so I didn't blame men for wanting to go their own way. I'm not as supportive of it, even though women have gotten worse, because I'm more family-centered, and I recognize that, you know, we need to be having kids and family, the only way to fix this stuff, but I still sympathize with it because I still don't blame men for wanting to go their own way with how shitty women are. Way off the beaten path here. Let's get back to the video here.
That just pisses me off, like, sitting in his ugly-ass $600 Gucci sweater. I swear I've never seen this guy in a fucking normal-ass t-shirt. Sitting on his high horse, looking down at people for wanting something more out of life. I don't understand how someone could be so mentally mind-raped that this is their reaction to such, like, a simple, wholesome concept. Like, literally, no joke, the entire meaning of life is somehow confusing to Hasan Piker, anti-natalist. If I saw a child that looked like that, I'd probably attack it. I felt like hitting her. The right-wing nutjobs seeing this and feeling paternal instincts are just predators. The only instinct I feel as a man right now is self-defense. I want to kill it. Yes, the ones saying they want to protect a kid are the predators, not the ones saying they want to kill it. The only thing I felt while watching this is pure bloodlust for that annoying creature. I hate children so much. Before you come at me, yes, I'm a 35-year-old crazy cat lady and proud of it. Stay mad.
Okay, this one definitely has been completely addled by SSRIs, birth control, and a bunch of other drugs probably at this point. Because it's not normal to look at a cute child as a woman and want to just murder it like this and hate children. You are either severely abused at a young age, which is highly likely, or you've completely fucked up your body so severely with fake hormones at this point that you're just completely ruined. You're just literally fried, cooked, as the kids say here.
No cap.
That's not a normal reaction. Like, if it's the other ones, I kind of assumed were men saying that for some reason. Maybe that's my misandry coming out right there, because there is cuteness aggression. If I might be wrong here, and chat can correct me, but I believe it's a smaller amygdala causes cuteness aggression, where you see something cute and you want to kill it. That's not a good thing. It's a biological problem within you, and you should not have kids. It's usually a low IQ, low impulse control problem. That's not normal for a functioning society. It's not a good thing. It's a little bit of a self-report. A little bit of a self-report going on right there. Yeah.
First of all, every time you see a little smiley face like that, that's how you know that person is madder than they've ever been in their entire life. Listen, obviously if you simply don't want kids, that's fine, like whatever. Not everyone wants kids, not everyone wants to be a parent. But the societal attitude—
That is still wrong in my opinion. Not wanting to be a parent is a luxury in the modern age. It's not normal to not have kids. It's a very much a modern concept in the past 80 years that this has happened. Beforehand, it was everyone had kids. Everyone got married and reproduced and had multiple kids, because that's the only way the community and your bloodline could stay alive. And it's only been recently where you have this luxury to not do so, because the population has exploded so much that the white population has gone down, but the overall global population has exploded so much. We live a life of luxury, of materialism, where you can now watch a retarded woman on the internet yap incessantly with another woman on the internet here, and you get, as much food as you want. You go wake up at work and go into your wage slave, and you go home tired, and you have no purpose in life because everything's all screwed up. And so you do have this luxury to not have kids. Before, back in the past, you literally need kids to survive, because who else is going to work the farm? Who's going to take over the family business? Who's going to learn the trade? I mean, yes, there was terms for like spinsters were for women who were unmarried after 25 and didn't actually have kids, but those were very far and few between. Same with like bachelors, older men who didn't actually get married and have kids too. Like, that's still very far and few between, a luxury to have. It's not normal to not want to have kids. You're supposed to have kids. It's literally how humans work.
The difference between men and women here, how they handle this situation, is so, like, fascinating to me.
I'm probably never having kids. I'm probably gonna play video games for the rest of my life. I'm probably gonna be as hot for as long as I can. And I'm probably gonna keep making money. That's probably what's gonna happen for the next 40 years until people are just gonna keep being mad at me about it. Menopause is gonna hit me like a brick wall, but at least I will be getting the bag until then. You don't want kids? I'll do it whenever I want. I don't think I'm running out of time.
Absolute delusion. I feel like a lot of men in this situation are like, damn, I wish I had a family. That sucks. Women overcompensate and they pretend to be proud of it, and it just comes off as really kind of sad. And I guess it's like, as a woman for a long time, it's like, oh, you're too young to have kids. Don't have kids. It will ruin your life and your body and your career. Don't have children. And then all of a sudden you hit a certain age and it's like, you're eggs, ma'am. I get it. It's frustrating. I get it. I hid my pregnancy from the internet. Nobody knew I was pregnant. Well, some of you guessed. I was fat as f, but anyway, I
was gonna say, she's really skinny in this video, but I knew she was, bigger because of the pregnancy here. Damn, that's a 9-day difference now that I'm actually looking at it. But like she still looks relatively pretty, but like she's pregnant because yeah, she's fat here. Like, you know, like that happens. uh, she was not completely incorrect with the whole like you shouldn't have kids when you're young, you know, blah 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 blah, you're wasting your life, and then all of a sudden hit 30 and it's like demanding that. But it's mostly the internet that's going to like, you know, the anti-egg carton memes, because it's the men calling out women for their selfish behavior. Maybe because I live with a literal boomer dad, but he's not really like that. Personally, it doesn't really happen in my life too much. I know he's frustrated that none of my siblings have kids, so there's definitely a little bit of an aspect there. But it's a society problem overall, that you're literally from the day that you're born, you're taught to hate men, that you are a special little snowflake as a woman. You go through the school and indoctrinated further, and then you're sent from high school to college, and then from college to your career. And if you dare have a break with it, you can't have a career whatsoever. It's a pipeline. So no wonder women aren't settling down and having kids till they're 30, because they have to go spend at least 4 years in college until they're 24, you know, and then they have to have their career for a while. They actually get started off the ground so they can actually say they did something with their life. Like, you can't exactly blame women for that when society's literally set up for them to do so, and it's almost impossible for mom to actually be homemakers and raise their kids.
I hid it from the internet, and while I was like 5 months pregnant, I was getting tweets from like groypers and like, TikTok, your eggs are drying up. But this like, fuck you haters, I got my cats. Enough. Stop spreading that attitude. Stop being a crab in a bucket. Like, even if you don't have children, that's fine. You could find other meaning in your life, obviously. But don't encourage that type of mindset. The amount of anti-natalist propaganda young men and young women see nowadays is like insane. But the biggest anti-natalist propaganda has to be like $3,000 rent, $2,000 daycare, and student debt, honestly. Like, if we're being honest. It's just sad because like through all of history, like imagine your ancestors, they've been through like war and famine, and you're just gonna end your bloodline because the rent is too high. But it's understandable. They don't feel like they can support a child. They can barely support themselves, especially on one income, like how it used to be. Those days are gone. You know, if I was president and I wanted to make America great again, that would be the thing I focus on the most. But no, we have to do another bullshit war in the Middle East. Okay, whatever, we're not going into that.
Shoe is literally me. I love Shoe. Just saying. That's basically how I feel too. Because I brought this up before. Like, when I talk about how just need to settle down and have kids too, the whole war and famine thing, like that's been my kick recently. The whole financial thing is just an excuse, in my personal opinion. Because the poor's, if you're smart about various things, you can lower the cost about having kids. Like, you can not send the kid to daycare because the woman's job just basically pays for daycare these days because she's not making that much money. She's not making more than 40 grand a year in most cases for most women. That's basically the daycare cost at this point when you like total it all together. Diapers, for example, right? Instead of actually buying the diapers from Walmart, which is diapers are one of the most expensive items when you have a baby, you can just get cloth diapers. And yes, they're a little bit more disgusting so you can't just throw them away and you have to wash them yourself, but you have a washing machine you can put it in. Or if you don't have a washing machine, go to the laundromat, just don't get shut up. That's a huge way to reduce costs for children there. Go to the Goodwill or go to your local thrift shop and get the donation clothes, because even though people aren't having kids, I'm sure you can still probably find some kid clothes from the older generations that were, right? Like there are different. You can go to the food bank. I know the food bank usually has regulations for how much money you make, but if you are broke, then you know that's one way to go about it. There are so many different ways that you can help reduce costs financially to have kids without being reliant on the welfare state. Though at the same time, you know, you might as well, right? You might as well. If the Somalians can get away with it in fucking Minnesota, you can too. So just have kids. Marry and reproduce. Marry and reproduce.
Not in this video. Lots of strange reactions to this game. Let's clear some things up. Childless men do not have paternal instincts the way childless women have maternal instincts. Men first experience paternal instincts once they have their own children, and typically, those paternal instincts are only ever felt for their own children and no one else's. Men are not nurturers. Men don't gush over cute kids in public. Men don't have baby fever. If a man wants to possess a child for any reason other than it being a product of his own lineage, he's likely a predator. What? Okay. First of all, even from like anecdotal common sense, this is just not true. This is obviously bullshit. Research literally shows that childless men experience like the desire for fatherhood almost just as much as childless women experience the desire for motherhood. Apparently, young men want children more than young women do nowadays. Many men, including childless men, exhibit caregiving, protective responses to infants, even if they're not their own. All through history, men have protected, mentored, even died for kids that weren't their own. Also, with this logic, like, uncles, stepdads, adoptive fathers, like, anyone like that is a predator. Like, men just have the protector gene, and this game just activates it. It's really not deeper than that. Yes, it's true men don't have maternal instincts, but men do have paternal instincts. There's a reason this game is about protecting her from evil robots in space, and not like, I don't know, breastfeeding her. Yes, women and men are different. And a huge factor in this very popular trope is that the man gradually develops paternal instincts over the child despite his stoic, emotionally distant, masculine nature. These gamers are experiencing that through the main character. If Capcom's goal with Pragmata was to make everyone who plays this game want to be a parent, then they've done an amazing job. I always sit back when Diana starts playing and think to myself, so this is what it's like to have a daughter? She's so cute. And for the record, yes, that is what having kids is like. It's also not so fun stuff and lots of responsibility, but the good parts completely outweigh the bad and make it all worth it. There were hundreds of tweets from people, mostly childless people, mind you, being like, that's not what having a child is like, actually, you stupid gamer. It's actually terrible and awful. Men like this view having a daughter like having a pet dog. Once she grows up and isn't a cute little girl anymore, they'll begin to resent her. Men really do want kids the way kids want a puppy. All the fun, but none of the responsibilities. I don't like the way you guys talk about children. Like, they aren't toys. People will lose their minds when they realize that kids aren't like a dog or cat. They're a goddamn nightmare. Watching a child play with a toy and actually raising a child are two completely separate things. Kids are adorable when they're calm and playful, but little demons when they're screaming, snotting, and destroying your shit and keeping you up at night. Men really think having children is easy and fun. It's not so fun when they're pissing and shit and crying nonstop. Do you have kids? No, and I got my tube side 3 years ago, but thanks for asking. Wow.
Once again, more anti-natalist propaganda. Yes, having kids sucks sometimes when they are being little shits, when they are pissing and crying and shitting themselves, when they are throwing a tantrum in Walmart, or and all that fun stuff, or the first, year when they don't sleep very well at night, when they're a baby, right? But like, there's lots of good moments in there too. It's just like surprise, surprise, babies and children are humans. You don't have a perfect 10 out of 10 relationship with your parents, or your significant other, or even your favorite streamer all the time. People are human, they make mistakes, they get upset, they do stupid things. Like, you're not gonna have, rainbows and roses with every single human interaction you have on the face of human history. Children in the same way, except it's actually a lot more wholesome and better because they're your own kids and they're innocent, and you're trying to actually make them better. And so yeah, it kind of sucks in those moments, but you deal with it, and it makes the good times even better. This propaganda is awful. It's poison. This is not something I really talk about that often. Actually, I don't think I've ever really mentioned this before. But back when I was an actual SJW, like a legitimate SJW back in the day, when I was between 12 and 14 years old, I was actually heavily anti-natalist. I hated kids with a passion. I didn't want them all like eradicating anything like that, but I wanted nothing to do with kids. If people ever told me that I should be a babysitter, I scoffed at them and was revolted by it because I hated kids. I didn't want to deal with the tantrums and the crying, the snot, and all that fun stuff. When people would say, "Oh, you'll change your mind one day. You want to be a mom," I laughed at them. But because I would hear all these horrible stories about how kids are, like how they get no sleep, how you constantly have to change their diaper, problems you could have, like illnesses that the children can have, the tantrums that you would hear at Walmart always seem to be with. But I was too young to kind of realize that when I was younger. Like this was like shoved in my face constantly because women would be constantly complaining about their kids and how much they hated them and all the different problems. Unfortunately, there wasn't many children in my class that had younger siblings, but a couple of them do, and then they would complain about their siblings and the problems they would cause for them and their parents. So I was just like constantly surrounded by all this, you know, talk about how awful kids are, and so it's like, okay, I don't want kids because why would I want to go through that hell? Why do I want to ruin my body and be ugly for this demon child? Like, I actually wanted to get my tubes tied in my early 20s. My sister would actually, once again, this is back when she was more of a feminist too. She supported me in that, but she warned me that doctors probably won't do that because they say that, you know, you're going to change your mind later, you're going to regret this. Which obviously I did change my mind within a few years. By the time I was like 16, I was kind of over that by the time I was like 16. But it was still a big part of my life there where I hated kids. But guess what? I was also never actually around kids. I didn't babysit. I had no younger siblings. I never interacted with my friends' younger siblings. There was no babies around whatsoever. I remember I was at the school event in middle school where somebody handed me a baby and I was freaking the fuck out. I was like, what am I supposed to do with this thing? Am I supposed to rock it? Am I supposed to like coo at it? Like, what am I supposed to do? Like, I was like a foreign fucking creature to me when I was like 12 years old. I had no clue what to do with it. I was losing my goddamn mind. And thankfully, an older woman, a grandma saw me, and she actually took the baby. And it was a small school little function, so the mom who dropped the baby off to me, because she dropped it off to me because I was a young girl that was in the area. Just saying, it's the white high trust society. Before she went to go like do something for this school function thing, the grandma took it. I was greatly relieved because like I don't know what to do with this baby. What are we like? Come on! And then I found the mom again, and I told her what happened to her child. Because I was just like, we're passing this baby like hot potato here. But yeah, like I hated kids because I didn't actually know what a kid was like. I would just hear all these horror stories. And I know that still happens to this day because obviously you see these Reddit comments that she's bringing up. But there's this one Twitter account called Mackenzie Tuff that I follow that I absolutely adore. And she is who I aspire to be one day. And she partakes within like the mom side of Twitter and Facebook and different things like that. And she often fights. And one thing she talks about a lot is how moms need to stop talking about how awful their kids are because it is demoralizing. It is actually secretly anti-natalist. Like, yeah, okay, sometimes it sucks when your kids are like this, but constantly complaining about them makes other women not want to have kids. And I guess men too, but you know, other women not want to have kids. It's like you're actually secretly quite resentful of your child and you hate your child when you're constantly complaining about them like this. Also, kind of reflects on you as a mother. Like, at a certain point, if your child's a demon, then maybe it's because you're a horrible parent too. And we need to stop this. We need to stop the women need to stop complaining about having kids. The problems that go with it. Like, you can talk about some of the problems, obviously, but you have to give solutions to it. It just creates this propaganda at hand. And that's all I heard as a child myself.
Wow, Diana's so cute. Maybe I want kids one day. Did you know they poop and pee and cry? Why this compulsive need to counter-signal this? Watching a fictional kid play with toys for a few seconds and thinking that's what it's like raising an actual human being is probably a sign you have zero idea what it really looks like being a parent, and you should not base your decision off a video game character. Wait, this community note. OP is an e-girl with an OnlyFans. You stupid gamers don't get it. Doom scrolling TikTok and having multiple failed situationships is true happiness. children are a burden. Nobody is saying parenting is easy. Nobody said that. All the parts parents say are the best parts. All the parts parents say are worth it. That is what people are seeing and yearning for. They have this like insane compulsion to attack anything that's like remotely pro-family, I guess because it culturally clocks as conservative. So you have to just shun it and mock it, or else you're doing a fascist propaganda or something.
Well, it is conservative. Marrying and reproducing is conservative. Marriage is a conservative value. Being a traditionalist is a conservative value. Having kids is conservative. Because the left has turned into the anti-family, pro-sex, pro-gay, pro-independent, strong girl boss woman side of the aisle. Like, it's evil if you actually want to get married and become enslaved to a man and then chained to a child further, and you don't be the career girl boss. Because feminism is just Marxism for women once again. It's a lie that's been sold to them to be like, you just have to be as good as a man because you as a woman don't have any positive traits, which is not true. As much as I bash women all the time, only women can have kids. Only women can actually raise the child and give the maternal care that the child deserves and needs. The child needs the mother within the first 5 to 6 years of its life. Especially the first couple years are the most important ones, which is why it's so imperative that women actually stay home and don't go back into the workforce after they give birth. Because it is so important. Women do have a very important role to play. But Marxism came in, communism came in, and said, "Oh no, you are oppressed. You are inferior to men, and so therefore you must prove that you're not inferior by being foemen instead." Like, a lot of people forget that the Soviet Union was the first to push women's rights after they took control in the 1920s. Like, it was the Soviets that pushed for this stuff. So that's why they can't actually say it's a good thing. Because feminism is downstream from that, and getting that career is the powerful thing to do. Not having the career and having kids is not the powerful thing to do.
This whole thing has just been a litmus test for humanity. On one side, people who long for love and meaning and human connection desire deeper things and they're in touch with their humanity. And on the other side, miserable, insane freaks who want to destroy everything pure and wholesome. And then on the sidelines, normal people who just think this is a fun game. Yeah, that's probably most people. I think we're a little too online sometimes. So we have established that the broveries have been activated by this game, but is the male biological clock real? Unlike women who are born with a specific number of eggs, men create sperm all their life. Right now as we speak, your balls are creating sperm. Men can technically get someone pregnant all their life. And by someone, I mean a woman, not a femboy. You can't get a femboy pregnant. Stop.
You can't get that pussy in preg, okay? I'm sorry, chat. I know every single far-right Discord server turns into Nazis and femboys. Oh, you cannot get that pussy in pregnant, okay? No impreg allowed here.
Trying. Sperm quality tends to decline over time. Lower sperm count and more DNA damage to the sperm occurs. These changes usually start after 35 to 40 years old. So as men age, the risk of passing on genetic mutations increases. Similar to maternal age, higher paternal age has been associated with autism, schizophrenia, so basically being a Shoe0nHead fan, and other rare genetic disorders, as well as the chance of miscarriage rates being higher. So when red pill manosphere people tell you like, oh, you have all the time in the world to have children, bro, focus on yourself, queen, get that bag, like, technically, they're correct. Physically, you do have all the time in the world, but that doesn't mean you should wait. Having kids is more than the ability to reproduce. You want energy to chase a toddler around. You want your kids to have their father in their life for a long time. You want to see your kid graduate and maybe have children of their own. You want to give your parents grandchildren. You don't want to be a super old dad or mom, but if that's how it happens, and that's great. Life is not a Hallmark movie, but it should not be the ideal for men and women. Like, if you are in a stable relationship, get married and have kids as soon as possible. Honestly, it's the stable relationship part I think people are having the most trouble with. It's easy to be like, find a wife and get married and have kids, bro. And it's like, find a wife? From where? The wife store? Listen, I believe you will have that one day, Anon. I believe you will have that wife and daughter or son. You will have a little Diana of your own one day. You will hang those drawings on your fridge. Don't blackpill, don't doom. We're all gonna make it. Same to you ladies watching. If I can make it, you can make it. So what did you guys think of this? Have you played Pragmata? Did you like it? Did it make you feel those fatherly or motherly instincts? Is your biological clock ticking? Do you have baby fever?
Shit.
If you like this video, please subscribe, and if you can, donate to my Patreon, link down below. All Patreons get the raw, uncensored version of the video a day before it comes out, and I'm going to start doing live streams for Patreon members only, so that should be fun. And I will see you guys soon with a new video. A slot video, hopefully.
But to add on what she says, I do agree. Anons, you will marry and you will reproduce Shinzo Abe style. I believe in you. Where to get the wife from the wife store? Not exactly sure. That's a little bit up in the air at the moment. But hey, you never know. And if you give up trying, then you will actually never know at that point. The women in the park are free. You can just take them. True and real. I get the whole Me Too movement has ruined men actually just being able to talk to women without being labeled a creep. But women do like being chased, even though they claim that they don't, and all other fun stuff that goes within it. You still just gotta try. Like, I mean, obviously, I don't know where to try at this point, because all the social activities are being shut down, and I don't want you being labeled as a creep. So it's really hard to give advice these days when everything just fucking sucks. Just, you know, the cute girl at the gas station, ask her out. Cute girl at the park.
Consensually hold her hand.
The cute girl at Walmart, ask her out there, you know? Unironically go touch grass and find a woman in the wild. Basically, yes. Like, you literally just have to try. Or try to talk to her online, too. That's not exactly great. Definitely not the dating apps. Dating apps are just avoid. Just skip that part. You're not gonna find anything good on the dating apps. But if you can actually find a real woman online on Twitter, you know, I've heard some success stories a few times there. Just, you never know until you try. That's all I have really to say, because unfortunately, I know Shu says don't the black pill, and I agree with her, don't black pill. The problem is, I'm a little bit black pilled myself. I want to have hope for you guys, right? I want you guys to have a good life that's happily married with kids. Even if it's a bit later than it should be. You know, still something along those lines, right? The girls who work at the gas station have like 300 cats and would rather die alone. Yes and no. I mean, I'm going from my experience at the gas station. That's how I found my ex, and I was in a long-term relationship with him, you know, like for many years, and we were supposed to get married and all that fun stuff too. Obviously, it didn't work out. I thought he was cute. I was training this one girl. He came into the gas station. I hadn't seen him for a while, but I thought he was cute and attractive and all that fun stuff, and we were very clearly flirting. But he didn't ask me out, and I turned to her being like, oh my god, he's so cute, blah 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 blah, and she's like, you want me to go ask him out for you? And I was like, no, that's weird. She's like, I'm gonna go ask him out for you. So she ran out the door, chased him down as he got into the car, and got his number that way. And then he came back inside and kind of confirmed it with me. So, you know, it's not like he actually asked me out. He had some help there, but hey, you never know. Obviously it didn't work out, so it's not like exactly a happy success story. But it's possible. It's possible. So Amal's advice is extrovert wingman. Well, in this case, it was a wing woman, yeah. I know with retail, you're forced to be polite and nice. And so therefore, and a lot of guys do mistake the girl being nice as flirting, which is a mistake. But that's a problem. That's not a problem with women in the workforce too. It's gonna be someplace. Or there's a little bit at the end. Dun, dun, dun.
Why is the child sexy?
That's basically most of the discourse around Pragmata right there. It's a little bit strange, a little bit strange.